Hey there, Carnage Cravers. I am Ken Carnage. Welcome to Karnage Korner. Welcome to KKWR. This is where we're going to break down the week that was in professional wrestling. All right, so we're going to jump things off, diving right in. Going to talk about NXT. NXT just went off the air about an hour ago, so we've all had time to let that soak in and process. So they opened up NXT with Sanity in the ring, and AOP came out, and Sanity pretty much just wiped the floor with AOP. Rosar got tie wrapped to the railing there. He ended up ripping it off to try and get in the ring. They just got beat down by Sanity. Sanity definitely with the momentum as we move closer and closer to TakeOver Brooklyn 3. So we will have to see what happens with that. I'm looking forward to TakeOver Brooklyn. A lot of great matches on that card. I will be planning to do a lot more talk about TakeOver Brooklyn as well as SummerSlam next week on KKWR, because obviously that will be the last episode of KKWR before we go live with both Brooklyn and SummerSlam. So, that being said, moving on, we then went into a tag team match, the debut of the Street Profits, and they were taking on the Metro Brothers, which the only thing I know about the Metro Brothers is what the announcer said, that they were trained by the Dudleys. Oh, and there's the fact that they did the job to the Street Profits, who I was not impressed with really at all. They're like a discount New Day. I'm so done with this shit. I'm so done with this shit. They can drive off a cliff tomorrow. I don't care. No tears from me. It does not fucking matter. But the Street Profits won in their debut match, and hopefully I never have to see them again, but I probably will. We then go to break, come back, William Regal in the ring. He's calling out McIntyre and Rude, time to hype the title match for TakeOver Brooklyn. And so McIntyre and Rude come out. Good promos from both Rude and McIntyre. Rude a little bit more long-winded, but he's supposed to be. He's the heel. And just good exchange between Rude and McIntyre all the way around. And then, of course, Roddy Strong comes out and sticks his nose in there. And but again, it wasn't too bad, because Rude and McIntyre, along with Regal for that matter, really saved the segment. And out of this, we end up with, apparently, Roderick Strong will be taking on Drew McIntyre next week on NXT. If Roddy can win, he gets a shot, a title shot no less, at Bobby Roode after TakeOver Brooklyn, provided that Roode is still the champion after TakeOver Brooklyn, and I don't think he will be. I think it is Drew McIntyre's time, and I hope that I am right, because I mean, not for nothing, Roode has been ruling the roost down in NXT for quite a while now, and I would like to see Roode up on the main roster sooner rather than later. Now, I don't want them to rush it, because I don't want them to misuse him, but I would like to see him up there sooner rather than later. It would be great to see Roode lock up again with Shinsuke on the main roster, possibly over the World Heavyweight title. It would also be interesting to see Roode and Samoa Joe go at it again. There's a lot of interesting matches that can be had. For that matter, so as long as we're talking about giant egos, Roode and Cena could probably be a halfway decent match as well. So moving on from there, we then had Oney Lorcan, not sure, versus Danny Burch. These two, this is, I think, their third match. I know I've watched them compete against each other before. They are both great tacticians, great brawlers, very physical matchup between these two. Their matches have been great, and this match was no exception. It was a great match if you are a wrestling fan. Now, if you're a sports entertainment fan, you probably thought this was boring. But we're wrestling fans around here, and this is the good shit. So, and Danny Burch went over. He got the win over Oney Lorcan. And originally Lorcan was a little mad, but they had their nice little show of respect. Everything was good. And then, of course, we would eventually move into our main event, which was No Way Jose versus Cien Almas, Andrade Cien Almas. I'm probably saying his name wrong, to be completely honest with you. I know that the last name is Almos, and I wish he had lost, because then I could have said that he almost won, but that would have been a bad joke. Anyways, Cien goes over. Cien now has this chick with him. I don't like her. She seems like a bitch. She very, 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 very arrogant air about her, and I don't know. I don't like it. I liked Cien beforehand. I mean, he was the cocky heel and whatnot. But at least, you know, there was a he had that cocky era, the arrogance era about him. Now he seems to be playing second fiddle to this bitch who's dragging him around on a leash, basically. And I don't think it's a good look for him, personally. But and of course, the last thing they talked about is having a Cien take on Johnny Gargano at TakeOver, because Gargano was looking for an opponent. So whether or not that's going to be officially made a match, I don't know. It'll probably be announced next week. They probably will. I mean, they would not have had her say it on the microphone if it wasn't going to happen, right? So that was NXT earlier tonight. Now, SmackDown. We're going to go ahead and talk about SmackDown from Tuesday night. So SmackDown was really starting to gear things up to go ahead and get into SummerSlam. SmackDown started with the head douchebag in charge, John Cena, coming out. Cena comes out, and Cena just talks too much. I'm sorry. Like, I've been listening to this freaking juice monkey talk for 15 fucking years. I'm tired of listening to this walking hemorrhoid talk. But he talks, and he talks, and he talks, and he talks. Corbin comes out, and I think I might have audibly said thank God, because it made Cena stop talking. So Corbin comes out. Corbin and Cena have an exchange on the microphone. It was really, really nice, because Cena tried to goad Corbin into a match, and Corbin said, no, I have no reason to fight you. I have nothing to gain. You have nothing I want. Pretty much telling Cena that he was irrelevant, which was great. John might have looked like he was going to cry. I could be imagining that. But anyways. And Corbin tried to leave. And then the fucking troll came out. That little fucking hobbit rat bastard came out. And he decided to throw his weight around, which I know he's little, and he probably doesn't have that much weight, but he sure throws it around like he's Big Show. So he comes out and forces Corbin to have a match with Cena at SummerSlam. So at SummerSlam, it will apparently be Baron Corbin versus John Cena. So we'll see what happens there. Personally, I hope Corbin goes over. It makes no sense to have John beat Baron, especially not if you're going to have Baron cash in anytime soon, because, I mean, all that does is make the guy who's now going to be the world champion look weak. So it shouldn't be done. Corbin should go over. I don't care if he has to cheat to go over, but he should go over. That being said, we then move into a tag team match after the first break. The Usos versus Ty Dillinger and Sami Zayn. Yawn. Usos win. Thankfully. They better win. They're going for the tag titles. And then, of course, the Usos cut their little promo talking about how they're going to be the next SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions, mocking the New Day in the process. And the New Day music hits. Big E comes out on the entrance ramp to distract them, while the other two little dinguses jump them from behind. You know, these are supposed to be, like, seriously, booking is so screwed up these days, because these are supposed to be the good guys, aren't they? Aren't New Day supposed to be the baby faces? Aren't they supposed to be the good guys? And they're jumping people from behind? That's a heel move. Like, seriously. I'm beating a dead horse. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. WWE has not embraced logic in quite some time. So anyways, the New Day, they get the cheap shot attack in on the Usos. We go into an interview with Randy Orton, which Orton has been getting very lazy with his interviews as of late. He just does not seem to care, which I don't know. Maybe Orton needs a break. But after the interview with Orton, we went into another Fashion Files. These things have been getting ridiculous. They were amusing at first, but now it's going too far. I mean, the Fashion Peaks. At this point, I don't even know what the hell they're trying to do parodies of. I mean, this shit's it's truly gotten ridiculously stupid at this point. Just ridiculous. Charlotte had a matchup with Lana because last week Lana kind of offhandedly said that she was going to challenge Charlotte this week. So, Charlotte versus Lana. Charlotte wins. There's a shocker. After that match, Shane McMahon comes out to the ring and brings out Kevin Owens and AJ Styles. And they all have a little talk about whether or not Shane is capable of being an impartial referee. They even drug up footage of him screwing over Stone Cold back in the day. It was actually really... Kevin was working that crowd pretty good. Kevin, of course, is Canadian. And... they were in Canada, in Toronto. So, Kevin managed to get the crowd completely on his side by making a comment about how, the McMahons have screwed a great Canadian before, and then turned around and said that he's referring to Bret Hart, in case you didn't know, and then turned around and saying that he deserved it, which immediately made the entire arena boo him very loudly. Very, very nice crowd manipulation on the part of Kevin Owens. I found it amusing. So, and we go from there. It's the back and the forth and the back and the forth. Things start to get physical. Kevin gets a cheap punch from over Shane's shoulder, punching AJ in the face. And AJ goes to do the Pele kick, but he doesn't hit Kevin. He hits Shane. So now we have the possibility of Shane being spiteful, channeling his inner Vince and screwing over AJ at the pay-per-view. I don't know if that's actually the way they'll go. I certainly hope not. But, hey, we'll see what happens now, won't we? Then we go into Carmella versus Naomi and that goddamn light bright belt. I want to burn that goddamn light bright belt. That is the most ridiculous... I know I bitch about this every week, but god damn it. It's a fucking championship. Show some goddamn respect. Ugh. Ellsworth interfered in the match, and Carmella wins. So, I guess Ellsworth's suspension is over. So, Chinless is back. And Natalya warns Carmella and Ellsworth to stay away at SummerSlam, which, I mean, I don't know what Natalya thinks she's, I don't know what she thinks she's threatening. Carmella is the Money in the Bank briefcase. If Carmella wants to go out there and cash it in on Natalya, should she win the title, really not a damn thing Natalya can do about it, except throw a hissy fit, which tends to be a Hart trademark. So, we then had a Shinsuke Nakamura interview, which, it's funny, because Shinsuke didn't have his mouthpiece in, because whenever he's in the ring, he's got his mouthpiece in, but no mouthpiece, because he was sitting down having an interview. His English is a lot better when he doesn't have a mouthpiece in. I was able to understand him quite easily. So he might want to think about no mouthpiece when he cuts promos in the ring, because he can be difficult to understand between his accent and the broken English. So, but I was actually surprised at how well he can enunciate without the damn mouthpiece. Move into Jinder Mahal versus Randy Orton. No Singh brothers. The Singh brothers were were injured, and so they weren't going to be there. So Jinder versus Orton. They had a halfway decent match. I liked the finish. Jinder going for the collage excuse me. He was not making a collage. No pictures on the wall. None of that sissy crap. No, he went for the coloss, and Orton turned it into an RKO, which was it was good. It was good. It's always interesting the different creative ways they can come up for Orton to hit the RKO, since it can, come out of nowhere. My favorite was still the one with Jeff Hardy. Hardy going for the twist of fate, and just too much rotation, spins right into the RKO. But anyways, going backwards. Orton wins the match. Okay, Orton wins the match, celebrates all the way up the back of the ramp there, and gets attacked by Rusev. And and of course that's because Rusev is taking on Orton at SummerSlam, and of course Jinder will be defending against Shinsuke Nakamura at SummerSlam. And I have a theory, because Shinsuke has been embroiled in a feud with Baron Corbin for a while now. And I have a theory that Shinsuke may win the world title. He may beat Jinder for that world title. And I think that if he does, I think Corbin might cash in. I think Corbin might cash in. And I think even though Shinsuke might win that match, I think Corbin might be coming to Raw or to SmackDown the next Tuesday as the World Heavyweight Champion. So we'll have to wait and see if I'm right about this, but it would be, I don't know, that's what I'm feeling, that's what I'm thinking. I guess we'll see what happens. So now we're going to talk about the first, I know that's kind of funny going in reverse order, because now we're going to talk about Raw, which was the first wrestling show of the week. But like it or lump it, Raw is still the flagship show, so I figured I would wait to talk about it until the end of the, as my last topic. So Raw opened up with The Miz calling out Jason Jordan. Jason Jordan didn't come out. Kurt Angle did. Kurt Angle said, nope, Jason Jordan is not coming out, but I have somebody to be a guest on your show, and out comes Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. And this was interesting, because it was actually kind of funny, because Paul goes to talk and Miz immediately just, tears into him, and Miz takes control of the promo. And it's funny to me that they've announced this Fatal 4-Way match, and WWE is still testing the crowd for pops. I don't think they have, I'm not sure they have completely decided what they're doing yet, because if they had, I don't see why they would keep testing the crowd for pops. Now, if you don't know what I mean when I say that they're testing the crowd for pops, let's put it like this. When they first announced that it was going to be a Fatal 4-Way, they announced it by saying, who is going to win the, basically saying who's going to win the Universal title. Do you think it would be Roman Reigns? And they listen for the crowd reaction. Do you think it'll be Braun Strowman? Listen for the crowd reaction. Do you think it'll be Samoa Joe? Listen for the crowd reaction. And Miz did the same thing in his promo. Again, they're testing the crowd for pops. Now, it's a Toronto crowd, and, Canada is lovingly referred to in the WWE as Bizarro World, because Canada has Toronto in particular, has a history of cheering for those that would normally be booed and booing those who would normally be cheered. But again, that's pretty much true everywhere now, and WWE's fucked up booking is mostly to blame, because they have their supposed baby faces acting like heels, and their supposed heels not acting enough like heels. So, that being said, it possessed there. So I thought it was interesting that they were still testing for pops. But, and then of course when Paul Heyman does pick up the microphone and start cutting his promo, his role play talk was kind of, that was a stretch, I think. But in either case, he decided that they were going to play a little role play, and he told The Miz that he was Roman Reigns, and he told Bo Dallas that he was Samoa Joe, and he told Curtis Axel that he was Braun Strowman, and then Brock tore through the three of them. There's only one problem with that. Curtis Axel is no Braun Strowman. Bo Dallas is certainly no Samoa Joe. And as much as I like The Miz and as much as I can't stand Roman Reigns, there's one thing we cannot deny, and that is that Roman Reigns is roughly twice the size of The Miz. So, The Miz is no Roman Reigns. So, while this was somewhat amusing, it actually doesn't make Brock look very good, because if Brock is getting overconfident, thinking that he is going to tear through his three real opponents the way he tore through two glorified jabronis and a mouthpiece who happens to be a decent hand in the ring, that's just not the way it's going to go down. Personally, I have a I hope that it is Samoa Joe who walks away with the Universal Championship. I would prefer that he walk away with it by choking out Lesnar, but there is a very, very good chance that Strowman walks out of this with the title. And that would be a smart move too, and I'll tell you why, is because Strowman walking out with the title, if they really want Strowman to be the heel and they really want to push Roman as a babyface, which why they're still trying to push Roman as a babyface, I couldn't tell you. It doesn't make any sense. You know, they had him attempt to murder Braun Strowman in that ambulance match, and then still tried to tell us the guy was a babyface. No, sorry, no. Anyways, they could put it on Roman Reigns too. So I don't know. I guess it's going to depend on how much time Roman spends on his knees before he actually goes out for his match at SummerSlam, and what kind of mood Vince is in. So, that being said, Brock destroyed all the pretend opponents, and then we moved into Sheamus versus Seth Rollins, and Sheamus managed to steal one off of the distraction from Cesaro and the quick roll-up. And then the tag team champions Sheamus and Cesaro decided to beat the holy hell out of Seth Rollins. This week, Dean didn't come help. So Shield got beat down. Then Rollins got beat down. Then we had Shield drama backstage because Rollins walked up to Dean and was basically called him a big jerk. That's what we've come down to now. You know, we went from the glorious realism of the Attitude Era to now we have grown men who we're supposed to take seriously as tough guys saying, you know what, you're a big jerk. The fuck out of here. Anyways, then we move into Bayley coming out to talk about her separated shoulder. Bayley received a very icy reception from the Toronto crowd. She is definitely not the type of competitor they are interested in cheering in Toronto. So she does not get a title match at SummerSlam. And then we moved right into the first of two triple threat matches. This was Sasha Banks versus Alicia Fox versus Emma. And I was surprised to see Alicia Fox on Raw. I was so surprised to see Alicia Fox on Raw. I guess getting dumped by Noam Dar over on 205 Live meant she actually had to go and compete. So, anyways, Sasha came out on top. Emma tapped out to the bank statement. So now Sasha will be moving to a one-on-one match next week with the other winner of the triple threat match to decide who's going to go on to SummerSlam to face Alexa Bliss. So we move on from there. Enzo Amore comes out. He's doing his shtick. He brings out Big Show. More shtick. Kind of, you know, it was okay. It was okay. Gallows and Anderson come out. And they talk some shit. You know, Show and Enzo. We eventually move into a match. Big Show and Enzo versus Gallows and Anderson. Cass came out. Big Cass came out, caused a distraction. Anderson pins Enzo, and Cass beats down Big Show and Enzo. But the event ends, the whole matchup ends with Cass getting knocked out by Big Show. I don't really like the way they're booking Cass. They broke up Enzo and Cass. If you're breaking up Enzo and Cass, what you should be doing is pushing Cass as a heel. He's big enough to be imposing. He's good enough to have a decent match. I'm not saying put him in line for a universal title match. Move him into working with, first you got to get the Intercontinental title off of Miz and onto a babyface that Cass can bully, and just move him into working for the Intercontinental Championship. Them having him get beat up by Big Show, that doesn't do Cass any favors. I mean, if you were going to do that, you could have just left him with Enzo. They were getting beat up just fine when they were a tag team together. I mean, you didn't have to break them up. So, I don't know. It's more of this stop-and-go 50-50 bullshit booking that WWE is so fond of these days. So, moving on from there, Ambrose had a match against Cesaro, and then Ambrose managed to win the match, and the champions attacked Ambrose, and Rollins actually came out to help. And this caused Ambrose to, in a show of gratitude, I am assuming, hold out his fist for the Shield fist bump thingamajigger there, and Rollins refused to do it. And Rollins leaves. So, this is fucking crap. So then Roman did a promo, a true Roman Reigns promo, which means it was bad. Moving on from there, we had the second triple threat match: Mickie James versus Dana Brooke versus Nia Jax. Nia Jax wins, convincing fashion. It's not hard to be dominant when you have about 100 pounds easy on your opponent. I'm just saying, like, Mickie or Dana running into Nia is like them running into a wall. If we're going to have, you know what, never mind. So next week it will be Nia versus Sasha to decide who is going to go on to face Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship. I think it's going to be Sasha who goes on. Nia's really, although she has improved greatly, Nia's not ready for a title run. And, I mean, it's bad enough that in order to progress with this, they have to have Nia lose to Sasha. Because here's the thing, they want us to look at Nia as this monster, this unstoppable force. Well, if you want us to look at her that way, you gotta stop beating her. Like, seriously, if you want us to take Nia seriously as this unstoppable force, you need to not have her lose to a competitor that she outweighs by, how much is Sasha Banks? She has at least 120 pounds on Sasha Banks. At least 120 pounds, if not more. And you're going to tell me that Sasha's going to win this match? Not clean. There's no way. There is no way. Not in wrestling. Okay, this isn't, you know, even in a fight, even in a mixed martial arts environment, they have weight classes for a goddamn reason. Okay, like, if you want us to take the product seriously, if you want us to believe that this could be an actual contest, then fucking treat it as such and use logic in your booking. Okay. Sorry. Moving on. So next week we will have Nia versus Sasha. Big Cass goes to Kurt Angle backstage. Basically says he wants Big Show at SummerSlam, so apparently it's going to be Big Cass versus Big Show at SummerSlam. You know what? Why don't we just, we got Big Cass, we got Big Show. Why don't, we throw Big Van Vader in there and have ourselves a big old three-way. Sound good? Doesn't sound good to me. No, this is stupid. Cass needs to be working with somebody other than Big Show. If you wanted him to work with Big Show so that he could learn from Show, do it on house shows. Because if you keep having Big Show beat him, you're just burying your lead. You're burying the person you're supposed to be elevating. Honestly, this is why we needed the jobbers. Okay? Because you feed jobbers to somebody and they fucking squash them and it makes them look like a monster. Okay? And then at pay-per-views and big shows, you have them go against somebody else who squashes people, and then people are hyped up and excited for the fight. It was a very simple equation that worked for fucking decades, and I don't know why all of a sudden in the last, 15, 20 years, they decided to reinvent the goddamn wheel. Okay, so sorry. Then we had the Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns last man standing match. I don't like Roman Reigns, but this was a good match. Roman works really good with Strowman. They complement each other's style well. They have good matches. That being said, I am tired of watching them fight each other. They both need to move on to other things. I would prefer it if this the match at SummerSlam was Strowman versus Brock one-on-one. I think that would be a more compelling matchup than this Fatal 4-Way. But, I am looking forward to the Fatal 4-Way because of, the people involved. But Strowman versus Roman, last man standing match, good. It was a good match. It was going, back and forth, back and forth. Roman seemed to be starting to mount a comeback. When Samoa Joe locked in the Coquina Clutch from in the crowd. He just come up in from between two fans and locked Roman in a chokehold and choked him out. And because of that, Braun was able to get to his feet while Roman couldn't because he was unconscious. And Braun wins the last man standing match with an assist from Samoa Joe. So we're going to have to see what the fallout from all of this is for next week. Should be interesting to see. Next week is going to be should be a big week in pro wrestling because, of course, it is all the final shows before we head into TakeOver Brooklyn on Saturday and SummerSlam on Sunday. So the 19th and the 20th, I believe it is. We are going to be bringing you KKW Live again next week on Thursday. I have not hammered out a time yet, but I can tell you it will be on Thursday of next week, not Wednesday. But we also are planning on going live, for schedule permitting, for NXT Brooklyn TakeOver. I will be live on YouTube while watching it, giving you blow-by-blow reactions and thoughts, and hoping that you'll join me. Same goes on Sunday with SummerSlam, and we're just going to go ahead and see if, WWE might completely shake things up and change everything around. Part of me hopes that they do. That needs to be done every once in a while. So, that being said, this has been KKWR. I am Ken Karnage, and until next time, remember, Carnage right around the corner.